Welcome, CAD to Cars.
We should be saying welcome to you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome back.
Yeah,
Welcome
hey,
back.
feels good to be back with the guys.
The OG podcast daddy.
Yeah, I think I did, 4 episodes?
Daddy.
Something like that. Yeah, CAD to Cars, we're back here in Mike's garage. I'm Matt, filling in for Dave. Dave couldn't make it.
Who was filling in for Matt?
Who's filling in for me for the last 12, 16 episodes. So I'm back for episode 21. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Recovering.
Dave usually starts with his update, so
Daily ramblings.
you're up first.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, he listens to him. I think he still knows how it works.
Yeah.
He still edits every single episode
I
for
forget
us.
That, yeah.
I do enjoy the daily ramblings. Mine, let's see. I
Yeah, you
inherited,
should have a lot.
sort of, yeah. I don't have very many mechanical daily ramblings, except I did inherit a wheel horse tractor lawnmower from my grandparents. It was in the barn. I think my grandfather bought it new. It's a 71 wheel horse 800 series. Needs some electrical work, so I'm going to rewire the ignition. The lights, mice were living in there, so that's pretty simple. It does turn over. I don't know if it runs, though, if it fires, so that'll be something when I fix that.
Turning over is good.
I saw the picture of it.
Yeah,
It
I
looks
saw
good.
your garage picture. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm pretty excited to get it running.
Heck yeah.
Bought a house that was in the new garage.
Okay.
It's very suburban, neighborhood garage.
Yeah.
Chevy Suburban.
Yeah.
Repair
That's really all I have. I don't have much. I feel like I'm going to fail at this part of the podcast. So other than the wheel horse, that's about it. I bought a bicycle. I'm sure you guys don't give a shit about that.
It depends
Why
on the
not?
kind. I mean,
Yeah,
It's
a
a
road bike.
It's a road bike. It's
Okay.
a Giant Defy Advanced. So it's a carbon fiber frame, hydraulic brakes.
Fancy.
Very fun and easy to ride. So I can go quite a few miles on it without feeling too tired on it, and I really dig it.
Yeah. You got some miles on that thing now?
I do. I probably have a couple hundred on it now.
Wow.
Nice.
Alright.
Bought it in June. Shane kind of talked me into spending the extra money to go full carbon, full hydraulic brakes, Shimano.
He would.
Yeah.
Shimano gears.
He's got that scumbag style.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're proud of him. That's we've trained him well.
Good job, Shane.
Yeah, he did good.
Now we just need to push it back on him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of
He
course.
needs that Moto 4. I think after this weekend, he's feeling it again.
Oh, we also decided that you need to come to the next Brapplebee's.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm all in.
absolutely,
Yeah.
For sure. I don't have anything to bring, but
Ooh,
I'll bring
actually,
beer.
We'll supply the tiny four-wheelers.
Okay,
we
cool.
did have a little idea.
Enough.
We might have to gauge some interest on it, but I'm thinking a full cinematic style Brapplebee
Ooh.
mini movie.
Yeah,
Because mini movie. I'll do a little quick edit, some cinematic shots.
I dig that.
I think,
bring
I
it-
think it
him
would
work
look pretty
for it?
ridiculous. No,
He's gonna work for it.
We'll
you know?
fuel him or something, or I don't know.
Try not to ruin his camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. and No
I'll bring
machine gun gravel.
I'll bring a company camera. They'll buy a new one.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all I
CAD to
have.
Cards movie.
I can't think of anything else for my dailies.
Okay.
I think Kevin's next.
Oh yeah.
All right, Kev.
Not much, I guess. I've replaced those cam trays in the 135.
Successfully,
Successfully.
I presume.
Yeah,
No codes, no
got
problem.
No codes except for catless stuff. So
Cool.
that's normal.
So is that your issue the whole time, you think? Or is this that and not even...
The Vanos solenoid.
Yeah.
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 The only other issue that people say is causes that is the cage inside the oil filter cap
Mm-hmm.
breaking off and it sending unfiltered oil to the solenoid.
Right.
So that wasn't the case, and it's replacing the solenoid, which can't hurt anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I left it in there, so not
And
gonna
then the
return it.
injectors were just preventative kind of because
Yeah.
half of them had been done. And
It does seem to run a little cleaner now. Get less. For a while there, first time I got on it after driving it, nice little plume of black smoke coming out, and just it needed it anyway. The engines need the Index 12. If you don't have it, it's just not right ever.
Right.
So car didn't break the whole time. Didn't get any flat tires because I brought a spare, and didn't break anything else because I brought too many tools.
yeah, of course. Well, once when you're prepared, nothing breaks.
Certainly didn't have a lot of confidence. I only put 100 miles on it before we left,
Mm-hmm.
and that was how long of a trip? 1,200
Yeah, about
Yeah, I
1,200.
think so. Yeah.
plus
Not
driving down there?
including driving around down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
How about the part out status?
Yeah, I was
Oh.
real curious about that. I've been following that drama.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
kind of my favorite.
Yeah.
I started to prep things to pull the engine out before we left. So I'm mid-engine pull, and
Let coolant drain for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Still be in there.
Yes, it'll-
it's been draining for like a month. Because I pulled the front end off because I was trying to fix a coolant leak on this crossover pipe thing that I broke, and then just left it apart because I needed to put that in, and I was gonna get it off that spare motor, and then this whole thing happened. So, the guy that wanted the seats and the transmission didn't respond. The guy that wanted the front end decided he didn't want it anymore. But then I already sold the bumper to a guy that's picking up stuff next weekend, so should be getting rid of parts pretty quickly. I just gotta like.
Was that the same guy that was just going to grab the whole car when you were done? The guy that wanted the front end stuff?
Yeah.
So that would have been nice.
Yeah, that would have been nice, but that's all right.
Whatever happened to the title, or the guy that was supposed to give you the title?
He's just a real dirtbag.
He never got back to you.
He strings me along every time I ask him about it, and I just eventually like gave up. This is dumb. I'm not gonna
Unreal.
pursue this anymore. So whatever. That engine's a pain in the ass anyway.
What would
I
happen if
decided
you like got home today and it was there?
It ain't gonna be there.
I'm just saying. Like
yeah,
what?
but would you throw it back together, or would you discontinue the part out?
I'd continue the part out.
Yeah. Okay.
There's already a bunch of little pieces I sold to Thomas, and pretty much have the entire cost of the car paid for by selling this guy the rear bumper, the spoiler, the side skirts, and the front bumper.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So
That helps.
now it's just a money maker. I just go towards insulation. If I'd be pulling the engine out anyway because
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
timing
Right.
stuff and cam actuators.
Mhm.
So, and just it's like similar enough to a B5 where I'm like, okay, I kind of know where everything is and what needs to be taken out to get this out. But like, Jesus, they really crammed that stuff in there, and just like trying to get the alternator out. That was a big thing. The water cooled alternator. I had no idea that was a thing.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, why won't the alternator come out? Oh, there's more hoses hooked up to it. What? Like, why? Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to get to the heater core lines, which are like, not only on the B5 they come up and like kind of go through the secondary firewall and go
Right.
straight into the car. On this one, it is like in the trans tunnel area, and it's not good. So try to drop the engine down a bit. I got the motor mounts loose, so just got to support it. Try to drop that down and get all the crap that's hard to get at, like the shifter linkage apart, and then it should be ready to come out.
Nice.
Did you find another car? Because that was going to be for your girlfriend?
Yeah, we haven't found anything else yet. Poked around at Jack's wagon and decided not to pursue that. The 525i wagon in a manual, but wasn't the one. So
I wasn't feeling that one. So
Mhm.
we'll dig around, find something eventually.
plenty of cars
Cool.
out there.
Yep.
Well-
All right. Let's see. I can't even remember when the last day we recorded was. So it was over a week ago, right? So
pre Dragon for sure.
right. What did I do?
You were talking about prep of the mini things.
Yeah. Okay.
Something with the truck tuner.
Oh,
a tuner for the
yeah,
truck.
I got the
Race
I
truck,
got the
yeah.
tuner on Monday or Tuesday last week and jammed that in there. It's pretty good. It's money well spent.
Yeah, I saw you like barely had the thing warm. You're already rolling coal on the way here.
We took it to lunch, so it was still like
Yeah.
it was still lukewarm, you know.
It holds the heat forever, you know.
The drive here was kind of funny because we have a Dodge Ram up front, F-250 in the middle, and then the Crown Vic following, and then
Yeah.
the Honda Accord like way in the back trying to keep up.
The Crown Vic's not fast.
It was keeping
Your
up.
Accord's probably faster.
I don't know.
It
But
might be.
probably
It
faster,
probably is
yeah.
faster. Yeah.
If we were to race, I would put money on the Accord.
Yeah.
Maybe in sport mode. I don't know. You guys were cruising.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Well, I knew Will had the new tuner, and you got to do the comparison runs. So
Yeah. I was a little curious.
yeah,
I still had a couple modes to go.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Getting on the highway was like pretty much all I had there, and
Yeah.
it just shifts a little goofy anyway, but like because it's out of the power in before the overdrive shift,
Mm-hmm.
and then once it clicks into there, it's okay.
Yeah.
But you were like right on me the whole time, and yours is not easy to shift fast, so I know
No.
you weren't banging gears.
No.
So
But very happy with that. Definitely money well spent. It was like I said, I was trying to do all the maintenance stuff before I allowed myself to spend money on something like that. But I still wish I bought it sooner because it makes it so much better. The throttle response and everything just makes it not feel like a pig. So much more enjoyable. Other than that, what did I? So tiny things I bought to the Dragon were the Moto 4, which is and has been fine. Only a casualty there is the headlight taking a shit. I wasn't even driving it, but our one buddy Brian, Rocky's friend, was riding it out on the tow. Pretty late at night.
I put it on the driveway. So.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he was out.
We
He
didn't
said
quite
he was
get
out on the road.
No, he didn't get there.
Okay.
That
He
would
was
be
in
scary.
third gear and the light shut off.
Okay, so yeah, he's in pinned in third, and the light just completely cut out, and it's pitch black because trees and stuff and back roads, and I can imagine that was pretty terrifying. But it's survived. I don't know. Probably we put headlights on them maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So $15 for 2 of them on Amazon. So now I even have another one. It's already on. So just replace that. So that was fine. The XR80 was fine, although ended up not really riding that too much.
No.
And it would have been cool to bring the 3-wheeler. I was kind of get that ready to go, and still having problems with it running. And right before we left, I figured out that the insulation on the spark plug had cracked or something like that, and it was arcing out up inside the spark plug. So ordered a new one of those, hoping that should be pretty good. And then Helix, again, it's kind of been pretty solid. Didn't really do anything to get it ready, and it was awesome, as suspected. Very glad that I brought that. It was just all around fun.
Yeah. Is that are we doing that today? Is the topic today going over the
I don't know. It doesn't have to be.
Or do we have a topic?
I don't know how much we want to talk about it.
I don't know.
How many
We
questions?
kind of breezed over the fact that we just went to Tail of the Dragon and did that with a bunch of junk.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't want to steal anybody's thunder by kind of going over the whole thing myself. So
Yeah, but you're third, You could explain.
Well, before we go into
explain
that,
what we did.
I think you were mentioning something about the Mazda 3. You were getting a transmission for it, or?
Yeah, I wasn't able to get it in time before I left, but that is my plan. That my buddy just has a spare Mazda 3, Speed 3 transmission that I'm going to steal gears and stuff out of to put the one back together just on the cheap, because it sounds like actually my neighbor wants to buy it for his son, so that would be fine with me.
To help fix it the whole time.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. We're friends, so
Yeah, that's fair.
I already help him fix all of his stuff anyways. So.
Yeah, you might as well
Yeah.
fix your own stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
He
Speaking
likes
of
to
which,
break stuff a lot though.
yeah, he's pretty good at breaking stuff. I don't know about his son. Maybe his son's a lot better.
Maybe, yeah.
But anyways, yeah. I guess on that note, he has an A7, so 3OT S4 engine, pretty much. And the last weekend, how monsooned really bad here on was it Sunday?
Sunday or Monday.
Yeah. And so he was driving through a Hobby Lobby up by us in the parking lot, and it was deep water, but you couldn't really tell because water, it always goes to low ground, and then it kind of looks like it levels everything out, so sometimes it's pretty hard to tell how deep it is, in his defense. But yeah, he called me. He said, hey, I'm over here, and I kind of just drove through this puddle and my car shut off. I'm like, ooh, uh-oh, hang on, I'll be right there, don't touch anything. So grab a couple things, some tools, and went over there and said, asked him to tell me exactly what happened. And I'm like, okay, well, before we try anything, we should, pull all the plugs, see if it'll crank over with no plugs in it, see if it shoots water out. So, took the intake off and noticed there was a little bit of water in the intake, and I'm like, ooh, not a good sign. So pulled all the plugs out. It's actually pretty easy on those motors, and cranked it over there in the parking lot, and it must have shot out a gallon of water. And I'm like, it's not a good sign, but every cylinder had water in it. So I'm like, well, maybe that might have helped you actually, because if it just got one, it's a lot easier for the starter to basically just bend or break that rod.
Well, the rest of the running cylinders will bend and break that rod.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess if it continued to run,
For sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, shot out a bunch of water. And then at that point, after cranking it a bunch, when we put it back together after drying it out, the battery was dead. So, ended up having it towed to his house anyways. Cleaned it out, blew it out, dried out all the cylinders, make sure of that, changed the oil, and fired it up. And unfortunately, cylinder number 1 had a pretty bad knock, so it bent a rod. And so now he's trying to figure out if insurance is going to help him out with that, or if he needs to do something on his own, which would suck. But
Jeez.
feel pretty guilty about it. Not guilty. I mean, but sorry for him about
The
it.
whole
but
reason that insurance was even questionable was the fact that you like touched it afterwards, right? So I guess lesson learned on that is if you hydrolock your engine or you think
I
you
honestly
hydrolocked
didn't
it,
even think that insurance would cover something like that, especially because it was on private property and not like a public road. You know, I figured they'd tell you to kick rocks or go after a company because you were on private property because of that. And again, like I said, even if it was on public road, I guess I wouldn't assume insurance would cover that. But
Yeah.
apparently I'm wrong. I looked it up afterwards, and I guess that's not uncommon for insurance to cover that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Just call a different adjuster and be like, no, I never touched it. I don't know. I had it towed here.
Yeah, no, that's
It's like it's his own fault if he said he touched it. Like there's no other way they would know. So like don't ever. That's one of those things. Like yeah, you can try it and figure it out, and like oh no, it's broken, and then play dumb when the adjuster shows up. I'm like I don't know, it just died. So
Yeah, it is kind of unfortunate because, on one side of it, insurance has to, well, they're looking for the way out of it anyways.
oh of course
but, but they can't assume that there are competent people in this world either that can diagnose that sort of problem.
Yeah.
So, honestly, because the worst thing to do would be, just try and crank it over and over again or something like that.
for the motor, but not for
Right.
But insurance
But that
wise,
but-
no. Like that's the best thing to do.
On the consumer end, as
Right.
a car owner, but
It's hard for us to do, but as far as insurance
it's like,
and that stuff goes,
you know what,
like,
actually kill it. I know there's a bunch of water in the cylinder. Let me try and start it.
Yep.
Like what your average person would do. And
kill it
so,
and then
yeah,
bring it
that's-
to a shop, and then honestly, it would have been covered. So
That's the whole unfortunate reality of the situation. So
I feel like Audi would have a smarter car and it would recognize that there's water in there. And
Yeah,
there's
not
that's
enough
how it would
time.
non-start?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's not enough time either.
Gotcha.
and there isn't really anything that would tell a car that there's water going into it in that instant. So unless like you use like an IAT sensor and it saw everything get cold really quick.
Still,
and then what does
Even
it do?
that-
Just shut the engine
it's
off?
too
Right,
fast.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
even just the amount of RPMs while it's coasting to a stop would be
Mhm.
enough to
Yeah.
hydrolock it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and it's move a lot of air, and when you turn that into water, it moves.
I haven't
a lot
seen
more.
many hydrolocked engines, but I've seen a few, and it always does surprise me. Like, you don't need full submerged or anything
no.
like that. Like, a little splash, man, does a lot of freaking damage.
Water's hard to squish.
It's I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that it actually gets into an engine.
Yeah, it
like,
doesn't take much.
it's impressive.
Yep.
It kind of is.
So all those people that drive through water,
don't
thinking,
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only will you get stranded,
Yeah.
like you may drown, but it'll destroy your car.
Yeah, it's bad news bears.
It's bad for all things.
Yeah. Okay.
Never mind all the new things that have like computers under the floor and stuff. So once it does sink, like all those modules get wet, and then there's corrosion, and then they're pissed. Yeah, not advisable. Try not to
No.
go through water with your car.
Noted. I won't.
Yes, I think that's all I have.
Cool.
Yeah.
What did I do? Oh, I took a bath in transmission fluid.
Oh yeah, night
It was,
before, day before.
2 days before.
Yeah.
The worst thing ever. So like the whole trans saga of the truck being a piece of shit. Like I put a converter in it and then it still slipped. So I did some research. You can bump up the line pressure if you change like the 1-2 band strut thing, because if you just bump up the line pressure without it, it'll bend that, and then you lose first and second gear. So I'm like, all right, cool. That little band strut's like less than $20 at Summit, which is 10
Wait,
minutes from my house.
You replace it with the same piece?
No,
No,
they have
it's like a
they have a big
revised-
updated aftermarket big billet block thing.
Okay.
The other one's just on the bench. It's a little sheet metal.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, I touched that thing. I meant to open my beer with it when I was covered in ATF. I was like, nope.
Yeah, never mind. Well, yeah, because that was inside the trans. So yeah, like I drove home in the thing, dropped the pan, which is awful. Like luckily I welded a bung in it so you could actually drain it, because there's no drain plug on those transmissions. So you get 8 quarts of ATF, which if you spill a quarter of a quart, looks like you just killed someone in the driveway. Like it's just red death everywhere.
I'm assuming that's why they add it to the magical ATF acetone mix, because of the
Yeah.
penetration
Yeah, it's very
qualities
thin.
of that. That's
Yeah, very
incredible.
thin, but
Yeah.
also red, so it shows up everywhere. So, yeah, I dropped it to make sure I didn't already have an upgraded band strut, because like someone's been in this thing before, and I didn't. So then I ran out. I took the motorcycle up to Summit, grabbed the band strut, came back, jammed that in, bumped up the line pressure a little bit, because like you're supposed to be kind of timid about it. So I did like 3 turns, put the pan back together, took it down the street, and it still slipped. So I pulled it back in. Now the transmission's like 170 degrees. Drop another 8 quarts of fluid, and then drop the pan again with everything hot, and bump it up another 3 turns, and then put it back together. And it seemed okay. And it's still, like, if you have it on the race cartoon towing, it will slip just a little bit. So I had it on the mid-level one, and it was fine all the way there and back.
Of course, everybody's going to tell you, like, what are you doing? Put it on the race car.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that, but
slow things aren't fun.
Yeah, self-control's hard. So I'd rather go back in there again and turn it up, just not when it's hot.
More turns, yeah.
If it wasn't hot, it wouldn't have been bad.
How do those pans seal? Do they have an actual gasket?
It's like a big rubber strip.
Okay.
Kind of not confidence-inspiring.
Yeah.
Also, one of the bolts was stripped, like, the first time I went to pull it.
Oh, yeah.
Which, like, what, a month ago?
Yeah. 3 times ago?
Yeah, 3 times ago it was stripped. So I put a longer bolt in, because that's one of the ones that goes all the way through.
Okay.
And then this last time, because I'm pissed, covered in ATF.
Trying to be done.
Recklessly throwing them back in with the cordless impact, and I blew the threads out of that one again. But... So now I can throw a nut on top of it.
I was going to say, nut and boulder, right?
Yeah, I haven't. It's not leaking yet, but it will. This is like right before we're about to leave, so I'm just
that's what's
pissed.
all over my car.
Oh.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's leaking ATF at all, though. I checked.
All right.
It is leaking oil from the same spot that your truck's leaking oil. But
So next step for that is the bus transmission.
yeah, you're sitting next to it over there.
Yeah,
that
thing
big
is
giant
sweet.
thing. But that's going to be like an over-the-winter thing, because I still have more parts to collect and money to acquire to sink into it. But it
gonna
should
be busy
should
this
fix
winter.
it. Yeah, everything's broken. That should be a relatively easy once I buy all the stuff. I'm just like trying to piece that together cost effectively. So,
Cool.
yeah. Otherwise, yeah. Took the quad 3-wheeler XR80 and Helix down to the Dragon. Rode the XR80 like half a time, because when it's dark out, and then it like rained a couple times, so it was sketchy on the little road. And yeah, there's no headlight or anything, so it was fun briefly. And I'm like, never mind. Put it away.
So that kind of leads us into our subject for today.
Sure.
We're going to talk about that?
Yeah, we should go.
Okay. So, from my understanding, it's a kind of an annual thing that you guys do every year. You go down to the Dragon.
We
or just
didn't
the last
go-
2 years?
A year and a
Yeah.
half. It was a year and a half this time.
Yeah. Well, we didn't
Okay.
go this past year because Drift Series. We were in the middle of trying to do drift stuff.
Right.
But yeah,
That happened earlier that year, didn't it?
technically, yeah.
Yeah, technically, yeah. So it was a year and a half.
I guess so. Yeah.
So we'll just call it year.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll
sorry.
see
how
how
often
often we do it.
It's an annual thing that
Semi-annual, yeah, whatever.
biannual, something
It just
like
happened
that.
to happen twice, so
So now it's an annual.
I'd like to do it again, too.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds
definitely.
like a good time.
Yeah.
So they go down to the Tail of Dragon. If you're not aware of the Tail of Dragon, I'll try to find a link and put it in the description so you guys can read about it. But basically, it's a state route through the Appalachians that crosses Tennessee and North Carolina border, somewhere
Yeah.
in there.
Yep.
I don't know if it's technically Appalachians. Blue Ridge Mountains.
It's right there.
Smoky
No, Appalachians
Mountains.
are right down the street from where we were.
Yeah.
But yeah, Smoky
Okay.
Mountains.
Okay. Right in that mountain
Smokies
range.
are
Yep.
part of the
Are
Appalachian
they?
Mountains.
Okay, it's like a segment. Okay.
Yeah, because the Appalachian...
Geography.
The
Not a
Appalachian
strong
Trail was right down the street from us.
Ooh,
Is what I was.
that's cool.
Yeah.
It's a curvy road through the mountains that a lot of people drive to have some fun,
What's
see
it?
if they can go off the edge, spin it around a little bit. Just a little background about that. If you guys have
What
any
is it?
more background on it, probably.
Isn't it like 313 turns and
Something
11 miles or something like
300,
that?
yeah, 300 plus
Okay.
curves and 11 miles. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like a ton, just back and forth. Like, there's no straight on this road for 11
Yeah,
miles.
There's
It's,
constantly G-forces going on. You're either accelerating, stopping, or turning.
yeah, no in between.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it's relatively, they're tight. It's really, as you
Very
would
tight.
expect for that many turns in that short of a distance. It's very tight, so you're not doing 1,000,000 miles an hour. So,
Although, very treacherous.
Very dangerous
The road
still.
itself is nice, but there's no shoulders. There's pull-offs pretty frequently, but there's no shoulders, and there's on the inside of the turns, there's, you know, huge, like, little gullies, like runoff gullies, and then cliffs on the other side, and trees. So,
yeah, I mean, the margin of error is small, but, like, you're not doing 80 through here.
yeah, I mean, unless you're in, like, some really overpowered thing, which
Yeah,
I
that's
could
fair.
not. That's, like, part of the reason why I was like, yeah, the Miata would be kind of cool, but I'm also kind of not really interested because it's dangerous. So, easy to get into pickle there with, the margin for error.
So Honda scooters was the
scooters.
Yeah,
the
scooters
slowest.
So let's backtrack a little bit and talk about what you guys took, because not everybody took a car. We took some two-wheeled things. You guys took some two-wheeled things. Kev took his
we just
135.
talked about that.
Well, a little more
we didn't say
detailed. So like,
what you did though. Like,
yeah. So what car you took and how it performed on the trail. Any issues? What you thought of it?
Because I mean, you brought an Audi 200 last time. So
yeah.
The difference between the two then?
It's probably more fun, honestly. Like, driving the 1 Series, I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna break something the whole time, and
You didn't with the Audi 200?
somehow I didn't. But I felt that way.
Were you
yes.
worried about it?
I feel like I just drove slower because I was worried about the brakes, like just blowing out and just not being able to stop at all. But I don't know. Yeah, the 1 Series brakes I trust a lot more, obviously, but it doesn't have like too fancy tires on it or anything like that. And if you hit boost hard enough coming out of a corner in like second,
right,
it can loop you around real quick. So I just kept it in third, and it was pretty good the whole time. I didn't feel the need to like go as fast as I possibly can. I don't really like diving into blind corners where I don't know if like some motorcycle is going to be leaning over the line or whatever, which I actually had happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like some of the guys on the potato bikes, just their saddlebags, and they see you come around the corner and they get scared and they're like, oh shit.
Yeah. That happened to me a couple times because thinking the same thing. I mean, you have the same thought on a motorcycle, and the consequences are significantly higher. So it's you get a little spooked every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to just cruise. I didn't feel the need to like go super fast, so it was fun. Probably take something different if I went again. I don't know what, but
I intend on
the
doing
Helix
that every
when you
time.
have it.
I did have an urge to have a two-wheeled thing. Once you guys are riding around, I was like tired of being in a car. We drove all the way down there, and then like, I don't know.
I think that did help significantly on our end in terms of like differentiating the drive down versus doing stuff there.
Yeah, completely different setting.
Right.
You guys were moving faster than most of the potato bikes I saw. Like,
Yeah.
I followed you on the way back, and I was trying to take it easy because someone was having a panic attack in the passenger seat / not feeling good. So trying to take it easy, but they were cruising pretty good. We certainly got caught behind a lot more potato bikes.
Yeah, this time
it was a lot busier.
Significantly slower.
Yeah.
So last time we went, it was like the very beginning of the season. So we just got like super lucky with nice weather when we went with the Winter Beater Series stuff. So this time it's kind of in the heart of like bike season. So traffic was definitely up.
It's a lot of bikes.
Yeah.
A potato bike is a
Harley.
Like a Harley. Yeah, okay. Harley with the bags.
It's
and
the noise they
windows,
make. It's potato, 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 potato. So.
Noted. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
And so Will and Mike took their Helix.
Yes,
which I saw a few pictures or videos, I forget, where you guys had it leaning pretty good, like MotoGP style, through those corners on a Helix.
Not quite that far, but you can't get that far. So, because as Mike could tell you, that they scrape a lot of things before you can.
Well,
there's a couple pictures of sparks from mine.
That's why you hang off the inside, right? To keep the bike as upright as possible, right?
Which is hard because your legs aren't under you; they're in front of you, so it's really hard to shift your weight over.
It was funny. You'll see every single picture, both me or Mike. You had the right foot forward, so you could cover the rear brake, and then your left foot was like underneath you, so you had this like real goofy riding position, and it was difficult.
But yeah, the same fun as the little four-wheelers and stuff. It's like driving a slow thing as fast as you can is just a ton of fun and kind of less dangerous. I don't know. It feels less dangerous at the time. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. So like,
I'm pretty surprised you didn't bottom out and just lose the entire thing.
I did. What was it? Brian was behind me at one point, and I was going, it scrapes like the chassis pretty good in a couple spots. So there was one corner I was leaning into, it scraped a little bit, and there was a bump midway through, and it scraped hard. And I guess it kicked the rear of the scooter over like 6-8 inches. But he's like, yeah, that was pretty wild. And I don't know. Didn't really even notice.
I think, the other nice part about it, and the reason maybe it doesn't feel as bad as you would expect, because, like on bigger bikes, hitting peg and things like that, like really jolts the thing.
Yeah.
But the center of mass on those is so incredibly low that you have like all this leverage over it. So like if you're hanging off the handlebars, like I think it's going to be pretty hard for it to actually like high side you.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just like it can pick up the back and move it around. That's the scariest part.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall over.
Yes, that's exactly.
Helixes wobble. Well, they do fall over.
Yeah.
Mine fell
The
over.
concept is there.
How many times did you guys go up and down?
It's kind of embarrassing. We went up it and down it once.
The whole trip?
Yeah.
You guys did. I went back.
Oh, that's right. Mike went back.
I went back. At night, like, it was going to be dusk, and I was delusional about how far away it was. I'd completely forgotten. So, like, by the time I got there, like, we're going through fog and death, and then it was dark when we got there. I'm like, well, shit. I'm not turning around now because it was 50 minutes, but
I'm
going to take
now.
Yeah, you did turn around, which was kind of smart. But I had a nice, like, leisurely ride through at night, which was pretty cool. Like, it's still a nice twisty road, and, like, the weather was nice, so I don't know. It's pretty cool being out in, like, no light pollution area, too. Like, there's a little scenic overlook at the end, so you can just kind of hang out and look at stars and shit.
In contrast, I probably took 20 rides down the toe.
Oh yes,
yeah.
the toe of the
toe,
dragon.
that's a different story.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Boy, did we have some times on the toe.
Jeez. Things have escalated on the toe.
Yes, it's.
We aren't the only ones out there.
So what is the toe? I'm not familiar with that.
So this Airbnb we got the same one we got for the Winter Beater series, because when we got there, we realized it's on this super long dead end road that's arguably better than the Tail of the Dragon. Like,
That's where almost all
It's-
of the footage that's filmed from that episode on that road, because there's so low traffic and it looks the same pretty much.
right.
So that was a way better area for 5 cars on a filmer to
we just didn't
have
want to
to-
be like, those guys
constantly
trying
pulling off
Yeah.
and like
Yeah, slowing everybody down. So
it's kind of stressful. Even though it was low traffic when we were there the first time, because it was kind of out of season, it was still much higher than the toe.
yeah.
Right.
So we call it the toe of the dragon. It's just basically the rest of the road past the Airbnb. So it's kind of middle of nowhere-ish. We're almost an hour away from the actual dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super secret location. That's
Right.
absolutely awesome. So, like,
Yep.
that's why we bring all the tiny quads and stuff, because, like, last time we brought them because we knew the road that the Airbnb was on was dirt, and then, like, that would at least be fun.
Yeah, we're like, we might be able to have some fun when we're not filming and at night and stuff, because we
Right.
had the headlights and all that.
So, well, yeah, last time, one of us, I remember doing it, like, for the first time, the whole length of it, but, like, going into the street and being like, well, I wonder how far it goes. And just taking Will's quad, because I didn't bring mine that time, and just riding it down the whole thing. I'm like, that is the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah.
So,
Pegged 4th gear almost the whole time.
yeah. This is,
But there's corners you can.
right.
It has
You
a
said-
surprising amount of grip.
It's
What?
gravel.
No,
No,
it's
it's
paved.
paved.
Yeah, we
It's
went
like
out on
a-
like the public road.
Yeah, it's pristinely paved,
Yeah.
too, but
Yeah, it's perfect.
since it's a dead end, no one comes down it for the most part, especially at night.
That was the thing. I did take it out, take something out on there during the day, and that's like almost more sketchy because
weird.
at night, there's going to be less traffic, even though there isn't hardly
Or
any.
at
But
least
the
you can
headlights
tell.
really help.
Yeah, the headlight.
Um,
Seeing another car coming by its headlights is a big deal. So, yeah, during the day is scarier than at night.
Yeah.
On the toe of the dragon, not
On
the
the
tail
tail,
of the
not the
dragon.
tail.
Tail of the dragon is a completely different story.
Yeah.
Way scarier at night.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got tons and tons of runs in on the toe of the dragon.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
on everything.
Yeah.
Any accidents you see or anybody on fire overheating?
No.
Saw like one guy like crashed his bike a little bit, and they had to do a police report or something.
Oh yeah, we saw like the cop show up for that.
Mhm.
And then when I went at night, I came by some guy on a Harley or something must have slid off into the woods. It was like all the scratch marks in the pavement, and then there was like a van and a couple bikes there standing there. So I asked, everybody said they were all right, but
Yeah.
it
I
looked-
mean, that literally happens like daily.
multiple times a day, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm. So
That's the other thing.
yeah,
is you
nothing
have-
serious though.
It was funny because it looked like the cop was talking to the photo guys, and basically like every 3 corners, once you get partway into the dragon, there's people sitting there with cameras, and they just take pictures of everyone's stuff, put them online, and then you can buy them. Easy, super easy business plan there.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the cops know that too, and they're looking. They can get
Right.
a
So
lot
they're
of
like-
crashes too. They're on the good corners. They know what's up. So like they're on the ones that are difficult. So more often than not, they catch the guy crashing too.
Right.
So I'm sure they went to see if he got a photo of it,
Yeah.
because they have like crash galleries on all their websites.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they like to. They don't necessarily write tickets for speeding there. It's more they really concentrate on crossing the line.
They know how much money it brings to that area, and just
Right.
because
You know why you're
I mean,
there,
The same reason,
you know?
yeah, we all go.
So that's not, if you're like under control, they're not going to bother you.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you go speeding by, it's not really a big deal. But if you're out of control or you're going over the line
Yeah,
and you
stay
might
in
hit
your lane.
someone, then they're going to write you a ticket.
Wow. Sounds pretty exciting.
It was.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Since you guys have done both with cars and two-wheel things, you prefer the two-wheel things?
I don't know.
There's a lot of pros to it. You know, like I said, having like the slow things fast is just an incredible amount of fun. There's, you know, you don't have to like show as much restraint because you can't really like go too hard. And I think the
I
two-wheel.
disagree with that.
Well, I know, but in addition to that, like, you know, we mentioned the road itself doesn't have a whole lot of you know, shoulders or things like that. So, you know, when you're in a car, we were talking about this earlier today, when you're in a car, you can't really, you know, hit the turns like you would, say, on like a racetrack. You can't pretend your lane is like the course because you can't move anywhere on a car. So on a bike, though, you can, you know, hit apexes, so to say, whereas like on a car, you're just driving along it, you know what I mean, and staying in your lane like you're supposed to. So that was an added element of fun, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't not bring a two-wheeled thing as well. If I brought a car one time, which I can see myself wanting to do, I'd also want to have a bike.
I definitely want to bring a car again.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring the 944 ever again. That was terrible. The scooter was cool. I like slow two-wheeled things. I don't really like fast two-wheeled things. I have some self-control issues and they scare me. So, like, slow two wheels, I'm still down for. I'd rather have a quicker car than a quicker bike for sure.
Yes, I agree.
But I don't know. If I had some sort of fun street car, I would definitely want to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Not anything with big power, but
Yeah.
something that handles nice.
I just don't like the thing that I don't like about it is just going into every corner blind. You can never see around it unless like you're coming down into like a quick turnaround and you're going to the other side basically. But as soon as you
Right.
go to that other side, you're going to a blind corner.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's coming. So
Yeah, there's very few of those.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same on a bike. It feels...
yeah, no, that's just the difficulty or the reason you need restraint is because of that. Because some of them you like go into and then they just get significantly tighter.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're like, whoa, okay, didn't see that coming.
Right, you're never going to be 10/10 on a road like that.
Yeah,
Nor
well-
should you be on a public road like that.
No. But yeah, there's obviously you know, people out there that are very familiar with that road and
Right.
could probably memorize it like they would like a road course
Mm-hmm.
and recognize when the turn's coming up that tightens or things like that. But we obviously haven't been down it that much, so that is always, you know, you're never on that limit of traction or anything like that because you never know when it's just going to get tighter around a blind corner and stuff. So it would
I
be
did
nice to
notice
have
that.
the GPS up on in front of you or something like that just to kind of see what
I
the
wouldn't
corners
look
are
at
doing.
it at all. They're
No
too
time.
focused.
Yeah, that's true.
I did notice like all the right-handers because you basically can't see around them because you're
Mhm.
in the right lane. Those are scary. Like I was a lot more timid on right-handers than left-handers, just because like I can see what's coming. I can usually see the other side of the road ahead.
Yep.
And plan my route. But I don't know. It's a fun challenge regardless. Like
Mhm.
you don't have to be flat out to have fun. So
In addition to that, we also did a portion of what they called Moonshiner, the Moonshiner 28. That's what we did the following day instead of going back to the Dragon, which is, you know, just kind of like a totally separate road, but very similar in most ways. Like, as pretty much all the roads around there are really, really good. So we did a little exploring on Saturday. The unfortunate part about that is the forecast was pretty iffy, but it looked like it was going to clear up. So then we headed out, and
that is the wettest I've ever been on a wheeled device.
You didn't have a rain suit with you?
No. It was fine when you were like cruising at like over 40, but
Yeah.
the roads are twisty enough where you can't do that.
Oh, we had ponchos
yeah.
too. You guys forgot to get them.
Yeah, I don't think it would have helped.
You had ponchos?
Yeah, remember Elise told us she brought ponchos, but it would have been nice. But
Yeah.
either way,
It wouldn't. It would have like delayed it.
yeah,
You know,
it
at
I
best.
still would have been just as wet. It was
Yeah.
incredible how hard it rained. Like,
Monsoon.
yeah,
And you can only do 15 miles an hour.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So like I was leading for a little bit there, and it was like, you know, raining a little bit. I'm like, well, I mean, stopping, you're just gonna get wetter. So like we kept going, and then it started like really, really torrential downpouring. And at one point in time, like, and I was wearing like sunglasses as well because it was just like an added layer of protection against the rain, and because I had like an open, 3/4 helmet, and at one point in time, like water had gotten like underneath my contact, and then I just couldn't see it all, and I'm like, okay, I gotta pull over. So we pulled over, and then just got rained on for a couple minutes.
You
And we're
just
like,
have
all
to
right, what do
stand there
you
in the
guys
rain.
want? Like, what do you want to do? I talked to Mike. I'm like, do we turn around or do we just say, F it? We're already soaked. Let's just keep going. So we said, F it. Let's keep going. So
Can't get more wet. Might as well.
and super glad that we did that because, I mean, we were only down, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes into this Moonshiner Road, which
it took like almost 3 hours total.
3 hours total of riding. So we were like just right at the beginning of it, and then decided to keep going. And the kind of destination at the end of all that, there's like a bunch of like waterfalls, like really super deep gorges and everything. And it was awesome. Like by the time we had gotten to the waterfalls and everything, it had kind of cleared up enough. And, we were standing up on the helix, like, trying to dry off, and it worked for the most part. And we got to these waterfalls and it was awesome. Sun came out and it was good. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, we basically got down to like the Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, like corner there.
yeah.
So
Wow.
Yeah.
pretty
but
good
about
ride
like
on scooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
How many miles do you think you put on them?
I forgot my odometer wasn't accurate, but I put more miles on it.
We did about 3 gallons.
Yeah,
So
That just
more than
trip.
that.
was it more than no? Because I think I
I put
put
gas in
it.
it 3 times.
I only did it twice, and it was like a gallon and a half each time. So
The first we did 3.
okay,
Definitely 3. 3 times we got fuel.
okay.
But
It was a gallon and a half each time, so like 4.5 gallons then.
yeah, I don't know. I put more miles on it over those 2 days than I have the entire time I've owned it.
It's a lot of riding.
Yeah.
How much fuel did you put in your car?
I have no idea. Not that much. Like,
I just felt you were left out there. So
we filled up on the way in, and like
Yeah.
that was enough for me to. Only went down the tail of the dragon once, and then I was like, kind of, I'm good. I've done enough driving, and just kind of want to hang out. So I took Matt's 4Runner, and we drove around the mountain, checked out some of the areas where they were doing water rafting, and then tried to find this like overlook, which ended up just being like we called it the fingernail of the dragon after you've been sifting dirt for emeralds because it was just a dirt road, which we also did, which was such a scam.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're here and we're like kind of in this place already, so let's do it. You get a bucket and it's just filled with dirt, and there's just happens to be a bunch of little emeralds and stuff inside. Wow, this is quite the assortment for this area.
you said Matt went. Some other folks went.
Shane went.
Shane went.
Yeah, Shane
what
went.
other vehicles went down? I think Matt had his Supermoto there. Did I see
No,
that?
Matt
Oh,
just brought us 4Runner.
Oh, okay.
Our good buddy Rocky, who used to work with us, brought his Supermoto, and his buddy Brian brought another Supermoto.
Cool.
Shane had his M3. Felipe had his M3.
Yeah, another
one of the previous engineers.
coworkers. Yeah, doesn't work with us anymore. But yeah, we met up with him because he was down in the area. He's like just moved to Atlanta, so he wasn't too far away. It's about like 3 hours, and brought his E46 M3 up. So
Nice.
that was good seeing him. Haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's good little crowd.
Yeah, the Supermotos look like they'd be a lot of fun. on
Yeah.
those.
yeah.
I kind of wish I'd tried it out. but
Rocky was
yeah.
flying. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was getting some really good runs in, and that looked like a ton of fun.
Oh yeah. I had another question. I can't think of it. Oh, food. Any good food down there? Or is it just kind of hillbillies?
We just blew it all at the grocery store.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
were kind of
Cooked
you
it.
know,
Caught the grill on fire once.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, was that on fire? Like it's an Airbnb that's like or a rental that is not super well maintained. It definitely went downhill from the last time we were there, but you could tell no one has cleaned the grill for a while. So I think
Yeah.
Kevin was trying to just burn everything off, and then
Not even. I think it
inadvertently
was just like heating the grill up.
he was just heating it up or whatever. But it inadvertently large grease fire that would not go out.
Yeah.
So we had to like dismantle the grill.
It was funny because
FYI.
the grill was like underneath like an overhang, like out on the porch, and I don't know if it was caused by that. It seems like it might have been,
Might
but
have
it
been.
started
We're
like
not the first,
deforming the
but-
plastic thing up
Ooh,
above
yeah.
the. We're like, ooh, gotta roll it out on the deck, and
FYI, baking soda on grease fire puts
Yeah.
it out like super easy. Like a little couple taps of the thing on there, a little
it's
sprinkle
it's
of
magical.
baking soda.
Yeah, I
and
knew
things right
water Water wasn't
Water's
a
good
big
for
no-no.
grease. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes it
It
worse.
spreads it. They don't mix. They
Yeah.
just like spray. You have a
Well, and
baking
it'll
soda.
burn the oxygen. It's a hot enough fire where it'll
Yeah.
burn the oxygen from the water. But
Yeah.
yeah, the baking soda, which I knew worked, I didn't know how effective it was because I've
Yeah.
never done it. It's like barely, like enormous
Use-
fire, very little bit of
You
baking
use
soda.
that instead of a fire extinguisher. It made no mess. Like,
Yeah,
kinda washed
absolutely.
right off. Like,
Yeah. Then you can still use the grill.
Right.
I would have dumped the whole thing on.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't have
Didn't even
to.
need it.
Yeah.
You needed like one sprinkle, and you're like, you were instinctively gonna keep going.
Couple
but
tablespoons,
Didn't need
done.
it at all. Yeah.
Wow.
It was impressive.
That is.
I never had to use it before because, keep my shit clean and I'm smart, but whatever.
What else about the tale that?
Well,
I
I was
forgot
gonna
to ask.
ask you, Mike. Do you want to tell him about the mayor?
No. Okay, so
The mayor of Tail of the Dragon.
so we got into this predicament.
Mayor of the
This
toe.
is entirely Shane and I's fault. But so we're ripping the toe of the dragon when we go back the first day. It's like 5:00, still light out. Like we're just on the little quads having the time of our lives, and like there's like 2 houses on the street that are like near the road, and like there's one that's there, and like I saw the guy like grilling on his porch. I'm like, oh, all right, he's probably gonna get mad at this. So like I'm like, oh, whatever. I'll just cruise down further and like give it more time in between, so I'm not ripping by his house. Went down the end. Then like Shane caught up to me. I didn't know he was coming too. And then we kind of like hung out there for a minute, and then we're coming back, and the guy's at the end of his driveway on a 4-wheeler, and I'm like, oh no, he's gonna yell at us. So I come around the corner, and he's just super excited. He's got like his tumbler full of some mystery drink, and he's just pumped that we're having fun. And I'm like, all right,
that's
this
cool.
is awesome. So we pull over, talk to the guy for a minute. Seems like a cool retired guy, whatever. Like just kind of wants to shoot the shit with people. Gave us a couple beers. I'm like, all right, sounds great. Like, hey, by the way, we're up the street. We'll reciprocate the beers. If you're in the area, or whatever.
Yeah, just trying to make friendly
Yeah,
with the neighbors,
Yeah,
to
like,
not get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we intend on doing this for the rest of the weekend. So if we can stay on this guy's good side, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So he shows up a little while later. Definitely more beverages in.
on his quad.
On his quad.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is-
tumbler and cooler on back.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a 4x4 quad, nothing crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
big
guessing.
utility. Like
Yeah.
he's an older guy, so he was that's like his bouncing around to different friends on the street type of deal.
Yeah, apparently he knows everybody.
Yeah, he knows everybody. He calls himself the mayor or whatever. Like it, the whole big thing. Knows everything about the area. Like he's been there forever.
Yeah, and he's got to tell you everything about
Tons
it.
of stories.
Yeah.
Like that was all fine. Shows up, more drinks in. We're all sitting outside, just shooting the shit, and like this guy starts talking, and then somehow he just took this racist turn.
Pretty hard left
He
into
took this real
like,
hard turn
just
into
real-
hillbilly, like
Yeah.
hillbilly racist, like not great.
we're like, oh. No. Meanwhile, like the rest of us were all there, and they say, "Oh yeah, by the way, the mayor might come by or something." Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
What
but
are you
Shane and I are
talking about?
trying to explain this after
Yeah,
we're just
so
like a couple beers in.
They kind of tell us a
just-
story, and we're like, well, I mean, the guy's probably not gonna come up, but
Yeah, that's what
whatever.
we expected too.
Yeah.
We were just like, you just reciprocate the offer. It's the polite thing to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had met this guy before, and he's talking for like a solid like
Yeah,
45 seconds, 2 minutes before he takes that left
No,
turn.
I would say at least 10 minutes,
it
yeah.
happened quick.
It was not. Yeah, it was quicker than it needed to be for
yeah.
sure.
We were like, oh no,
Like
This-
hardcore racist, not even trying to kind of
not
see
at all.
how you feel
Not
about
even
him.
No,
trying to. Yeah, I wasn't
I
feeling
think-
us out.
Yeah.
That was him.
Drop the bombs right away.
He was
Yes.
definitely
Oh,
more
boy.
drinks in by this time, like from the first time I met him versus then. So I don't know if filter just like completely was disabled
Yeah,
or
there was no
or what.
filter.
But
Yeah. So it ended up being like, it started out with like 8 of us out there, and by the time he's there for
Yeah.
half an hour, there's like 3 of us out there just trying to get him to like go without getting mad
Yeah,
at
everybody
us.
just like
right,
just
we're still trying to keep the peace, but like everyone else bailed because this dude's nuts. Like, boy, what have we done?
yeah, that, like he tried to like change topics and like go into politics, and we're like, no,
Nope.
also
Even
not a
worse.
good one.
Yeah,
Don't
hard
do
no.
that. Yeah,
I
so
think we ended at insurance fraud.
Yeah. Yeah, I ended up bailing. Like there was a while I was like, this is my fault, and then like Shane went out. I'm like, it's also his fault. So then I went.
So that was an interesting evening.
Yeah, that was
so
an
I guess if
interesting
you're looking
twist.
for events, that was a pretty significant one.
Yeah.
That was an eventful.
None of us were very, delighted about, but
Well, one question. I
it
had
was a
with
story.
characters.
So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Did he only come by that one time, or do you keep coming
No,
back?
Yeah, he caught the hint.
Oh, he
Um,
knew he messed up like right then too,
yeah.
because like Matt was pretty vocal about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. And then like I think he read the room.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a very subtle tone change from everyone.
Yeah.
We're all just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and
no,
our buddy,
no.
our buddy Felipe, God bless him, he's just
Oh.
like kind of laid into him, but like in like the smart people kind of way, you know, like
He's
the
a very
the subtle digs that are kind of like maybe just a little bit over this redneck's head,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
which those were hilarious. But
Yeah. He's a well-spoken guy, and
yeah.
he's quick-witted about that stuff
Very.
and good with words. So like
Yeah.
it was nice to see him kind of make the guy run circles a little bit with his words, and that was refreshing.
So Felipe, is he of Spanish
he's
descent? or
Colombian.
Colombian,
Okay,
yes.
so the guy was
Right, so
spring
we're
race-
immediately thinking, we're like, oh boy, you know, like this
Yeah.
is going to be interesting. And, you know, Felipe, he stepped right up to the plate there, and
That's
he's
good.
like, all right, let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, some form of entertainment that came out of the situation. So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, he's, you know, good spirit about it all, too.
Oh,
so
for sure. Like
yeah.
he likes talking to people, and regardless of what their output is, at least kind of making them, I don't know, think about stuff. So
Right. So that was
Wow.
interesting. Yeah,
Wow.
an experience that we had not had previously.
Yeah, that was a new
And,
one.
so we
Yeah.
met a neighbor, and it was like, I guess the other interesting part about it is, you know, I guess everybody on this road, they're like all locals. You know, I guess a lot of them aren't there most of the time. Like this,
yeah, there's
like
a handful
seasonal,
that are there, like most of the time, but most.
but
of
they
the
all
season.
have like pretty funny nicknames. Like the one dude at the one end, his name was the Caveman.
Yep.
And you know, the mayor's neighbor is the judge.
Yeah,
of course.
So like they
Yeah.
run this town, you know, as you
Yeah.
can tell. And
Did you meet those guys?
No.
No, we figured we might as well have a town hall since he was there, but no, we didn't have that pleasure. We did see him later making another tow run later at night. It had gotten just about dark at this point, and he was heading down to Caveman's, and we passed him out on the road going the other direction. And he was like, he cheers to, you know, he raised his drink up in the air as we went flying by the other direction.
Yeah,
So-
full four-wheeler train. Like,
yeah.
you know.
Man, that sounds like a blast. Any other characters outside of the tow?
No, not too many
Not
acquaintances this time. Yeah.
No other characters than the ones you know. You know,
Yeah.
all of us are, I guess,
Yeah,
characters.
surprisingly,
in our own way,
we
but-
had probably more recognition, I guess, doing the winter beater thing. I remember when we were filming that, we actually had people stop us the one time and recognize, you know, the series and everything,
Wow.
and obviously the cars we were
Yeah, that was
driving.
weird.
That's how they spotted us. So we're
That's
like, hey,
awesome.
we know you guys, and no, you don't. Like, why would you know
It's
us?
just- you
And
don't,
They're like,
you
no, you have the YouTube series and everything. We're like, oh,
Oh shit, you do
yeah,
know us.
they do know us.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, of course, nobody recognizes it.
No one knows the
Couple
Helix
scooters
gang.
running
Yeah.
around.
Guess we got to make a series about that, though.
Little incognito run here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's cool. Can we? What's on topic for next week? Can we tease it?
I don't know. So we're gonna try and play a little catch up here, do another episode here in a couple days, and so I don't know. We're gonna have to feel that one out. I think. See what all happens this week. Got a lot of catching up to do on various aspects of life. You know, taking out the trash and things like that. So I don't know. We gotta
Have an episode about
discuss
taking out
about it.
trash.
If anybody, well, I guess they won't be able to message us in time, but for the one
Yeah.
after, feel free to drop comments, suggestions, things like that. We're always looking for them. Although we do have a pretty good list to pick from.
I think
so-
we have a couple in there. I just don't remember what they are.
yeah, not
Yeah.
off the top of my head.
I do have
Um,
one other question. So you bought an old drag bike? I heard in the last episode.
Oh, I've
The
had,
two
kind of
stroke?
glanced over
I've
that
had that
one.
a while ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had the last time we were at the Tail of the Dragon. I'm like, yeah, next time I'll have that ready to go for the next trip we do with the Tail of the Dragon. And then like we planned this trip in like January. I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I could totally get that done. And I haven't touched it. So that was my intent. Yeah, it's an old. I don't know. Have you seen it?
I guess not. No. I
No.
thought you just got it, but you've had
No,
it for a
I've
while.
had it for a
now.
while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, purple two-stroke Suzuki T350.
So you
like,
bought it at Mid Ohio or Vintage
I
Moto.
traded for
well,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
last
You
year.
acquired it
I
at Vintage
acquired it
Moto last year,
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been.
Time flies.
I've done nothing with it for quite some time.
Well, you did a couple things.
Yeah, I've got like wheels that I built ready to go, and like I've collected some parts. But as far as actually doing stuff to the bike, haven't done it.
You got quite a few projects here to
Always,
work on.
always.
Seems like
yeah.
everybody has
If the
a lot
stupid
of
truck would
projects.
stop blowing up, then it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But
Cool, guys. Anything else to add?
well, next up's well, next event up is going to be what, Grid Life? Or are we
Yeah.
trying to do another thing before that?
I mean, the concentration for the next couple weeks is going to be prep for that at least.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I got some truck bearings to grease and like go over the car, swap out the coolant for just water and some other random stuff.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, there's some
Oh, that's true. They
I
care
don't know.
more.
nut and
Yeah.
bolt. I haven't
So much.
touched like anything on that car at all. I just kind of like it's been just working, so I'm scared now.
Yeah.
That's why I don't necessarily want to do an event one weekend before.
Right.
There's a Midville Thrash Bash. That's a potential. We're also trying to scout out tires, which I'm having a hard time doing. The guy that is in our local group that sells them pretty cheap is out of
Oh.
anything other than 180 treadwear stuff. So
Yeah, bummer. Okay.
yeah. So we might have to go with like Simple Tire.
Yeah, that we're gonna start collecting tires for that for sure. I'm kind of low, and I want to step down and be more evenly matched with.
Yeah, we don't
What
really
you're
know how
running,
it's gonna
so-
go. And like this is an event that there's a mixture of grassroots drivers and pro drivers, and like
There's gonna be 3 pro drivers at least that have like confirmed going.
right. So who knows?
So
Could be
we've
you
got,
could go through like a million tires, or maybe only drive for a couple hours a day, and then that's it. So you go through like 2 tires.
right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, I'm gonna use them at some point, so I'm not worried
Right,
about
yeah,
buying them.
yeah.
It's just I want to pick a size that makes sense, so I'm not like I don't know. Wider tires, I should be able to chase people down, but I'm not gonna be able to chase down an FD driver anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah, I don't know. It's fair. We're
predicaments.
not in competition yet, so
No.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So that's the next hustle.
Sweet.
You'll hear about it more next time.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes, Spotify, any place you can listen to podcasts. Rate us. Leave a comment. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know how we're doing. And we'll see you next time.